Parker Schnabel just pulled 88 ounces of gold out of the Yukon in a single week, worth $1.6 million from Dominion Creek alone. And his first move was to tell his foreman to do it again. That's the world Tyson Lee woke up to on Dominion Creek. 3 wash plants running flat out, a crew full of rookies, and a deadline Parker delivered like a loaded gun. We do have a big crew this year. A bunch of new people. Tyson has a lot of training to do. People need to understand what the expectations are and when they're doing things wrong. And if they can't correct it, then we just need to get rid of it, which is always a challenge. By end of week, somebody's name goes on the board. The weight of a 10,000-ounce season. The Yukon doesn't give you 12 months. It gives you a window, a compressed, punishing stretch of working daylight. And it slams shut the moment the ground freezes. Parker Schnabel's target this season is 10,000 ounces. At $2,000 an ounce, that's $20 million in raw gold production. Every machine has to count. Every shift has to deliver. Every operator has to pull weight. The man Parker put in charge of making that happen on the ground is Tyson Lee. Tyson arrived in the Yukon a decade ago. Green on the mining side of things, honest about it, ready to work anyway. Parker handed him the controls of Lucifer, one of his primary wash plants, before most experienced hands would have considered it smart. Not careless, just Parker's way of testing. Real pressure is the only reliable test he knows. Tyson passed, then passed the next one. Season after season, Parker stacked more weight on him, and season after season, Tyson found a way to carry it. We're going to run 4 plants this year. There's a lot of work to do to get to that point. Last week, Tyson got Bob fired up in a bridge cut. Now, it's a matter of getting Lucifer set up. Back when Tyson first came on, Parker was watching to see whether he'd wilt or find another gear. He found another gear every time. A decade of that, and you don't just have a foreman. You have someone who has internalized the way Parker thinks about mining, who can run 2 creek systems simultaneously and still be making the right call on a personnel decision at the end of a 16-hour day. This year the weight is heavier than it's ever been. Normally it's been move that wash plant, get it set up, have a month to breathe, Tyson says. This year it's move that wash plant, get it set up, move to the next, get that wash plant set up, get it running, move to the next. 3 wash plants, 2 creek systems, Sulphur and Dominion. Multiple sites spread across miles of Yukon wilderness. All of them demanding constant attention, constant decisions, constant motion. And buried inside all of that, Parker handed Tyson one more task. Somewhere in between there, I have to find the time to go through all these operators, Tyson says. And one of them isn't going to make the cut. You got a new plant operator, Amy?
Yeah.
How's she doing? She's doing really good.
Yeah.
Is she going from being a school teacher to a loader operator, so that's definitely a change of pace for her. But yeah, she's doing really good.
Yeah.
Is it though? If she was like a kindergarten to 5th grade, it's probably not that much different. Parker has another operator standing by, someone ready to step in. And the last thing he's going to do is carry a slot filled by someone slowing the season down. The deadline is Friday. Reading the crew. Charlie is running course and fine tailings at the top of the site. Michael is loading trucks down below. Both know the job. Neither is a problem. Then there's Lauren, Julian, and Caden, fresh truck drivers, and a new excavator operator scattered across 2 creek systems getting their first real look at what this work actually demands. It's a lot of new people, man, Tyson says, flat, past the point of embellishing it. Here's why that matters. A weak operator in an excavator isn't just one person underperforming. It's a bottleneck that slows everything downstream. If the excavator isn't cleaning the pay properly, the wash plant runs dirty material. Dirty material means a weaker cleanup. A weaker cleanup means the ounce count comes in short. Do that enough weeks in a row and you are nowhere near 10,000. It's a chain. Every link is load-bearing. Is he helping me or hurting me? Tyson says, watching one of his new operators work. Is he not cleaning the pay properly? And then I have to tell him 2-3 times to go in when I could have gotten done in one day what it takes him 3. He pauses with a dry half-laugh. One of my favorite sayings. I would have been done by now, but I had help. The pressure isn't just operational. It's personal. These are real people who drove up to the Yukon with big plans. Some of them first-timers who talked their way into this job on confidence and determination and have been realizing shift by shift that confidence and determination only get you so far. When the machine is misbehaving, the foreman needs the pay clean properly, and the wash plant is waiting. Tyson understands that. He was that person once. He showed up green, got put in hard situations before he was ready, and found out what he was made of. Parker didn't hand him those situations because it was easy. He handed them over because that's the only way anyone ever actually learns this work. You can watch an excavator run for a month and still not know how to read the material the way an experienced operator does. The feel for it only comes from the seat. But Tyson also knows the math. Parker is chasing 10,000 ounces on a season that is already running. Every day an underperforming operator sits in that excavator seat is a day the whole chain underneath them runs slower than it should. The wash plant doesn't care why the pay is coming in dirty. The cleanup numbers don't reflect good intentions. The scale only reads what the ground and the operator gave it. There's another variable on Dominion Creek that makes the decision harder. Caden was placed upstream to load Mary, the excavator feeding one of the higher cuts. And it's not clean, direct supervision territory. Today's my first day working for Parker. It's a pretty big responsibility that Tyson has given me. I just can't up. I'm working in this really fine wet material that's just like quicksand. So you just got to be very cautious or that will sink you. Tyson isn't running the same site. He's managing Sulfur and Dominion simultaneously, making calls across 2 creek systems, and physically cannot stand behind every operator every hour of every shift. That gap between what a new operator needs and what a stretched foreman can provide is exactly where seasons go sideways. You get to clean up and the numbers are soft and you spend an hour trying to figure out whether the ground was the problem or the operator was. And by then the week is already gone. Parker wants a name. Tyson has to give him one. And the clock Parker put on it Friday isn't just a deadline. It's a signal. Move fast, decide clean. Don't let sentiment slow down an operation that is finally starting to run the way it was built to run. The deadline is Friday. What D knows? D shows up when Tyson needs it most. Veteran miner. Someone who has made every hard personnel call there is to make in this business. Someone who has been in the Yukon long enough to understand what happens to foremen who wait too long on a decision like this and what happens to the ones who make it clean and move forward. Tyson lays out where he's at. D listens, asks a few quiet questions. He's not trying to solve the problem for Tyson. He's making sure he has the full picture first. D knows the difference between someone who needs to be told what to do and someone who already knows what to do and just needs the weight of it acknowledged before they can act on it. Tyson is the second kind. When Tyson is done, D doesn't hesitate. If they're not doing the job, if they don't understand the job, you're going to fight with them all season long. Now's the time to sort those people out. You know you're aware of that. He's right. And Tyson knows he's right. The hard part isn't knowing. The hard part is the weight of knowing that the person on the other end of that decision drove up to the Yukon just like Tyson did a decade ago, hoping to be here for years to come. Letting someone go, getting rid of someone. It's not a decision I'm taking lightly, Tyson says. They could have come up here like myself 10 years ago, hoping to be up here for years and years. D looks at him. Every promotion, every step up you've taken, you have earned. So make a decision and stick with it. Start surrounding yourself with good people. He heads for the door. Proud of you, son. The cut. 25 miles west at Sulphur Creek. One of the season's first personnel decisions has already taken effect. And Caden is living inside it. He's been moved, not fired, not sent home, but moved from digging pay, the job he came up here to do, to loading operator. He's not behind the controls of the excavator he wanted to run. He's feeding it. It's a demotion in everything but name. He doesn't know exactly how it happened. Doesn't know for certain whether Tyson made the call or whether it came from higher up. What he does know is that it's hard to improve at a job when the foreman who's supposed to be developing you is stretched across 2 other sites simultaneously. I sunk the 480. I'm gonna need your help with another hoe to get this thing out. It's buried in there like top of the track frames. I'll be there as soon as possible. Hopefully this excavator isn't very stuck 'cause I got better be doing and doesn't have time to watch your every move. It ain't my fault that Tyson's not around to give me guidance. Caden says there's truth in that. Not all of what goes wrong in a first-season operator is the operator's fault. Season startups are chaos. Machines moving, sites standing up simultaneously, everyone running at full speed from day one. Mentorship gets squeezed out. The foreman can't be everywhere. Some operators get thrown in deep and figure it out on their own. Others don't. And there's no easy way to tell in the first month which is which, especially when the person in question is genuinely trying and just hasn't found the pace yet. The hard thing about the Yukon, the thing that separates it from almost every other place you could learn this trade, is that there's no slow period. There's no quiet week where the pressure is off and someone with experience can walk a new operator through the nuances of reading pay, cleaning cuts, and understanding why the wash plant needs the material prepared a certain way. Every week is a production week. Every day counts toward the total. There is no practice mode. Caden knows this. He's not deluding himself. He's seen the operation run. He knows what the expectation is. He just wants a path back to it. Hopefully I can go back to dig and pay, he says quietly. Because that's my happy place, my big sandbox. He means it. And the loader seat, if he works it right, is his audition. Show that he can read the material from the outside. Show that he understands what the excavator needs and why. Earn the trust back one shift at a time. That's the job now. It's not the job he came for, but it's the job he has. And in an operation running at this pace, the only direction is forward. Parker has watched this happen before. The demotion that looks like a dead end but is actually a second chance dressed in different clothes. Whether Caden sees it that way or not is going to determine how the rest of his season goes. Then there's the operator who didn't make the cut at all, who got in Parker's truck and got driven back down the road, whose season ended before it really started. He was really nice. One of the crew says he was really trying, but he kind of oversold himself. When I was driving him back, he said, "I thought it would be a lot easier than this." That's the gap between wanting to mine gold in the Yukon and actually mining gold in the Yukon. Parker has seen it close 100 times. The ones who say that never come back. The ones who don't. The ones who look at the cold and the hours and the machine that won't cooperate and decide to figure it out anyway. Those are the ones who eventually become Tysons. Parker's crew moves to the next week without him. 3 wash plants, full week 1 reckoning. For the first time all season, Parker has all 3 wash plants running together for a complete week. Roxan at Sulphur Creek, Bob at Dominion's Bridge Cut, Lucifer at the Golden Mile on Dominion Creek. Our goal this year is going to be just getting plants running early as we can and keeping them running. People need to understand what the responsibilities and expectations are, and you know they need to be met. Last week's haul was 527 ounces. Solid, but not the pace Parker needs to sustain for 10,000. At that rate, the math doesn't close by freeze up. He needs the operation running at a level that last week showed hints of but didn't fully deliver. 3 plants, full week, every site running clean. This is the first real test of whether the setup Tyson has been building through the machine moves and the crew evaluations and the grinding logistics of a season startup actually holds together. When all 3 pistons are firing at once, the answer is about to hit the scale. Roxanne goes first. "My scale doesn't go high enough," Mitch says. The grin tells the story before the numbers do. Not frustration. The specific delight of someone who has stared at enough disappointing pans to understand exactly what a full one means. The first batch lands at 300 ounces flat, right on the dot. Most operations would call that a week's haul, a strong one. Most foremen would be satisfied. Mitch reaches for the thermos, the secondary vessel you bring when you already know the pan isn't going to be enough because the pan already isn't enough. And the gold keeps coming. It wasn't enough. The thermos adds another 50.7 ounces. Roxanne's final count, 350.7 ounces. All right, we got 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300. Right on the dot. Right on the dot. But we got to move this aside because we have a thermos coming too. So we got 300 plus 10, 20, 30, 40, 50.70. Sulphur Creek is delivering at the rate Parker staked, 150 yards an hour on some of the richest ground he has ever worked. This is what the sulphur claim looks like when everything is dialed in. The excavator feeding clean pay. The wash plant processing it efficiently. The riffles catching what the ground is giving up. Week after week of this and the 10,000-ounce season stops being theoretical. Cleanups like this make my job fun, Parker says. He's already moving to the next one. Bob and Lucifer do their part. Tyson steps up to the scale. 2 wash plants, 2 cleanups. The numbers that tell him whether the week held up across the whole operation or whether Roxan was the outlier and everything else fell short. Bob at Dominion's bridge cut goes first. Bob is not the machine with the dramatic name or the storied claim on the richest stretch of creek. Bob doesn't get the build-up. Bob doesn't need it. Bob is the one that shows up every day and does exactly what it's supposed to. No fuss, no drama, no surprises. Consistent in a way that doesn't make headlines, but absolutely makes seasons. Parker calls it Chuggaloo Bob, the machine that just keeps going shift after shift, cleanup after cleanup, right when you need it to. Bob's count. Not quite 200 ounces. Nobody in that room flinches. That's a week's work on a reliable cut. And it lands exactly where you'd expect it to from a machine that hasn't missed a beat. Then Lucifer. Lucifer has been running all week at the Golden Mile, a stretch of Dominion Creek that Parker staked with the kind of conviction that either looks brilliant or reckless in retrospect, depending entirely on what the ground gives back. The name carries a certain weight. Parker picked it intentionally. Expectations come with a name like that, and this is the cleanup that has to answer them. Tyson knows what Lucifer is capable of when it's running right. He's the one who stood behind that wash plant in its early seasons and learned the feel of the ground on Dominion. The Golden Mile isn't just a name on a claim stake to him. It's ground he's worked, ground he's argued for, ground he told Parker was worth running hard. They start pouring from the thermos. 20 ounces, 40, 80, past 100, past 150, then 200. The room gets quiet, the specific quiet that comes over a group of miners when the gold is coming in noticeably faster than anyone let themselves plan for. 220, 240. The number keeps climbing. Final count, 261.25 ounces. The Golden Mile just proved Tyson right. The Golden Mile is earning every syllable of its name. Tyson's 2 wash plants, Bob and Lucifer, Dominion Creek running in both directions, just added $1.6 million to Parker's season total in 7 days. From ground that Tyson has been managing through a startup week that would have broken a less capable foreman. The number at the table. Parker runs the math at the cleanup table. Roxan, 350.7 ounces. Bob, 196.2 ounces. Lucifer, 261.25 ounces. Combined weekly total, 808.15 ounces. He reads it out loud, sits with it for a second, then the season math. Last week we had 527 ounces. This week we have 808.15 ounces in 1 week. To give you an idea, this time last year we had 288 ounces total for the season. Last week we had 527.5 ounces. This week we have 808.15 ounces in 1 week. To give you an idea what's going on, this time last year we had 288 ounces. We now have 2,435.5 ounces. He lets that land. Let it actually land. This time last year they had 288 ounces for the entire season to date. They just did nearly 3 times that number in the last 7 days alone. The season has been running for a month. The ground is rich, the plants are working, and Tyson has held the crew together through a startup week that required personnel decisions before the operation even fully found its rhythm. We now have 2,435 ounces worth $7.1 million. And we did over a third of that this week. $7 million in gold from 3 wash plants and a foreman running 2 creek systems simultaneously while also evaluating who gets to stay and who gets driven back down the road. That number doesn't happen by accident. It happens because the right people are in the right seats making the right calls under the right pressure. If it's like that all the way through, Tyson says, it's going to be great. Parker nods. His eyes are already past this week. So we just need to do that 10 more times. Tyson doesn't flinch. Yeah. And then like some more times after that. Where this leaves them, 2,435 ounces down. 7,565 to go. The Yukon season doesn't get longer. It gets shorter. One hard freeze at a time. Tyson still has a crew to settle. Operators left to prove themselves or get replaced. And 3 wash plants that need to keep running at exactly the pace that just produced 808 ounces in 7 days. The Golden Mile is delivering. Sulphur Creek is delivering. Bob just keeps going. Parker doesn't need a victory lap. He needs 10 more weeks exactly like this one, with a tighter crew on richer ground, and a foreman who just proved he can hold the whole thing together when pressure is real. The machines are already running.